This video presentation is on the managed transfer routine in Meditech utilized by providers through computerized order entry. The managed transfer routine gives the provider the ability to define and manage a plan for a patient's orders when they are transferred from one location or care level to another. This includes ED admissions, inpatient units, and surgical post-op inpatients. The blue in-process icon indicates a managed transfer is in process. The provider has entered orders through the managed transfer routine. Orders placed within the managed transfer routine will not become current or transmit to the ancillary departments until the transfer order is processed by nursing. This is a managed transfer on a patient from the ED to the inpatient unit ICU. The admitting provider will address any active orders in the ED by continuing or stopping them, reconcile home medications entered by nursing, and enter new orders that will start once the patient has arrived on the inpatient unit. The transfer order is at the top of the orders page. The transfer order will have the provider and date and time the order was entered. The secretary or RN will process these orders once the patient arrives on the inpatient unit. This is a managed transfer for a same-day surgery patient being admitted to the floor. The transfer order will have the provider and date and time the order was entered. The PACU nurse will process the transfer post-op orders before the patient leaves PACU. Once the patient arrives to the inpatient unit, all post-op orders will be active. This is a managed transfer on a patient that is improving in their level of care. This patient is leaving ICU and being transferred to PCU. The transfer order is at the top of the screen. All current orders are viewed along with the transfer order. The transferring nurse can view any of the transfer orders by selecting the Managed Transfer Footer tab. The nurse can view the orders that the provider has either continued or stopped and any new orders entered by the provider. New transfer orders will appear at the bottom of the screen. These new orders will become active after nursing has processed the orders. Transfer orders can be processed by the RN or by the secretary. If a patient is being transferred due to improvement of condition, the transferring nurse would process the orders after all active medications have been administered to the patient. Active medications being continued on a managed transfer will be discontinued when the managed transfer is processed. A new medication order is created after a transfer has been processed. Pharmacy has to re-verify these medications, and nursing has to acknowledge these meds again before any of these medications can be administered. This can cause a delay in care of the patient if these medications had not been administered prior to the transfer. When nursing is ready to process the managed transfer, nursing will click the Process Transfer Footer tab. Once the process transfer is selected, the nurse will be asked to verify with the pop-up message, Process Transfer Orders, yes or no. Selecting yes will process the orders and actions taken within the managed transfer routine. As these orders have already been signed electronically by the ordering provider, nursing would not be required to provide an ordering provider or source for them to process this transfer. This screenshot is a current medication list after the transfer has been processed. The original medication will be discontinued and a new medication order has been created. The audit trail on a medication continued on a managed transfer will show all the transactions on that medication. The audit trail will show the original order is stopped and a new medication order is created. On the History tab, the transfer orders can be viewed. The status will be completed. The completed order will drop off the current orders page. Click into the order from the History tab and the user can view which provider entered the order and who processed the order. The transfer indicator will be a green check mark after the managed transfer has been processed. The green check mark will drop off the indicator after 3 days if no other managed transfers have occurred. This concludes the video on the managed transfer routine in Meditech.